What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Justin, aka No Good Comics, and you are watching another episode of Comic Collector Origins. This is episode 46. So we are moving and grooving. We are really getting going here, and coming up on that big 50 mark, which is pretty cool over this next month or so as I hit that. But man, I have to say, as always, the show has just been so awesome, meeting so many different people. If you guys are new to Comic Collector Origins, this show is all about the community. It's where I interview people from the comic book community and ask them questions on how they got started in the comic book hobby, what their origin story is. You know, we always talk about origin stories of superheroes and villains and whatnot. So I just thought it would be a cool way to kind of flip it around, talk to the community about their origin story, about how they got started with this hobby. You know, what their first appearance was at a Comic-Con or at a local comic shop, you know, hearing some of those things as we, you know, as we've grown up and kind of the backgrounds that we all have is very different from each other. So it's cool to hear some of the different angles and experiences that people have had as they've been introduced to this great hobby. So yeah, I'm very excited again. So take a moment, you know, smash that like button. I appreciate the support. If you are new here, welcome. Please subscribe to the channel. Would really appreciate that. We're coming up on 750 subscribers, by the way. I think I'm like 5 or 6 away from 750, which I will be doing a giveaway for once we cross that threshold. So really excited about that as I continue my road to 1,000. So hopefully, you know, getting there, and, you know, I have a goal of trying to get there, you know, sooner rather than later, hopefully by the end of the year or so, hitting that 1K mark. So really excited for that. I see we have 13 people hanging out here with us right now. But before I get into the chat, let me introduce my guest for today. I'm really excited to have my good friend Jeremy, aka SparksComics. If you guys don't know him, I've known Jeremy now for about, I mean, definitely since the pandemic started, maybe even a little before that. Talking about a lot of, you know, indie titles. I call him the indie prince, as he is always diving into all the new stuff, and you know, on a regular basis helps me kind of keep up with some of the new indie titles, or if I've missed something, you know, he always has some great recommendations on his channel. He has this thing called Spark Notes where he breaks down a lot of the new books that have been coming out as kind of a review, which is really cool. He also has a ton of interviews that he does with comic book creators and writers, and you know, just different angles of the industry as a whole. So it's been really cool to see a lot of the different people that he's interviewed, along with Caroline's Comics, who I know joins him for a lot of those. So it's been really cool to kind of see his channel grow, his FOC shows that he does on Sunday, and also just communicating and hanging out with the community, engaging with the community all the time. So I'm going to bring my man Jeremy in here to join me here. Jeremy, what is going on, brother?
What's up? That was a great intro. Thank you.
Heck yeah, man. All well deserved, man. All well deserved. You do so much for this community, man. I really mean that. You are always involved in chats. You are always, you know, I see you either streaming or you're on someone else's stream, or you know, you're a busy man. But I appreciate all the effort that you put into this stuff.
I don't know. I think you're doing way more. I feel like every day I'm like, yeah, Justin's over here, Justin's over there.
I'm just trying to keep up, man. I'm just trying to keep
conversation up over here. You know,
yeah.
You got the
tag team Thursday,
and then these every Saturday, and you're double heading today.
Sure. Yes. Oh, yes. That I am. Yeah, that I am. It is a busier day today, but yeah, all in fun, man. All in fun.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. I think this is the official first time for you being on my channel. I know we've streamed together before.
We did the Hollow Heart review on my channel, and then were we on Rod's channel?
On Rod's channel for a bit too. Yeah, hanging out on the shout out show.
Yeah.
That's a good time.
This is our third stream, and now we're over on your channel.
Yeah, man. I love it, man. I love it. And hopefully, you know, certainly do some more collaborating after this for sure.
Absolutely.
So yeah, and if you like I said, if anyone watching right now, we got 19 people hanging out with us. If you guys are not subbed up over to Jeremy over at SparksComics, I put his information in the description below. I put both your YouTube channel and your Instagram channel because I know you live on both websites pretty often. So but yeah, so before we get into all the fun, Jeremy, let me just let's address the chat real quick. I see we got a couple folks hanging out with us today. So, and of course, to kick it off, we got some cowabunga from Ruben Guzman. What's going on, brother? Good to see you. We got Something Wong. he's shouting out Sparks. He knows what's going on. He's pumped for today. Saw him commenting earlier on Instagram. He's looking forward to the show as well. We got Sith Lordly from the SpineTicks crew, who I know you've done a lot of streams and hangouts in collaboration with that entire crew. So shout out to Sith. Thanks for hanging out, man. See, we got TM Nerdy in the house. Travis Station, brother. Good to see you as well. We got Wesley, Comic Collection. What's going on, Wes? Always a pleasure. Let's see, scrolling through. We got Jeremy in the chat. What's going on, Jeremy? Man, doing two things at once. We got PJ King hanging out with us as well. What's up, PJ? Good to see you. Saw you earlier this morning over on John's channel, John's Comics with Kids. Always a pleasure. We got my man Claiming Comics, Jason, hanging out with us as well. Appreciate you hanging out. Let's see. We got Todd Christian in the house. We got Steve, Hip Hops and Me in the house as well. Steve was just over on the NY Warriors this morning, which I have to catch the replay, but doing their Comics and Coffee show that they always do. Yeah, it is early. Yeah, and for Steve being on the West Coast, man, woo, more power to you, bro. He was up super early, so I got to go catch that replay. But shout out to you, Steve, and shout out to the NY Warriors for all the good stuff they're doing. Let's see. We got Slim in the house. What's going on, Sean? Good to see you. We also have Jennifer in the house. Comics Will Break Your Heart. Just had Jennifer on the channel not too long ago. That was a good time as well. So appreciate you, Jennifer, for hanging out. We got Comics Are Great. Anthony, what up, what up, what up? He was hanging out with the NY Warriors as well for that morning show. Let's see. We got Off-White Tim in the house. Off-White Tim. We have Tim. We coming up here in I think a month, a little less than a month. He's going to be a guest on this show. So looking forward to that as well. Speaking of, there's John right now. Just mentioned some X-Men before. Really excited for what we're doing over there. Let's see. I think we're getting everybody scrolling. Apologize if I'm missing anybody. Make sure you guys keep chatting in the chat below. I see Fuzzy Dunlop in the house as well from Scotland. Thanks for hanging out with us, Fuzzy. Always a pleasure. Comic Book Cuber is also here with us today. What's going on, Cuber? We got Michelle Moonlit Comics, who was just down hanging out with James Tynan earlier today for the signing.
Third Eye Comics?
At Third Eye, yeah. She was with Comics Kings, Brandon. Just hanging out and getting to meet them. I'm super jealous. Yeah, Michelle, you got to post some pictures later. I know you. It's cool that you're able to hang out with Brandon and obviously some awesome creators as well. There's the other half of SpineTicks right there. Eric, Azor's Tiger. He was a guest on here at one point. Good to see you, Eric. We got Missing Link in the house. We got VP in the house. We got Battle 66 Panda in the house. Just talked with him earlier as well. We got my man Michael, Sove Collector as well, just out for lunch. Appreciate you hanging out, my friend. Sorry, the chat jumped on me, just catching up. I think we got just about everybody here. So keep the chats going. If you guys have questions for Jeremy, don't hold back. Throw them in the chat. We will light them up as we go along. You guys know the drill. We'll have some fun rapid fire questions as well as we get moving through this discussion. So yeah. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, subscribe to Jeremy's channel if you are new and not following him, and let's get started with this, Sparks. So first and foremost, I have to ask, as always, as I kick this off, with when it comes to origin stories and kind of how you got into this beautiful hobby that we are in, what started it for you? How old were you, and what was your surroundings like at that time?
So I started in like 2014, 2015, so it would have been, what would I have been back then? That would have been like 7, 8 years ago.
Yeah.
So I was early 20s.
Okay.
What actually kicked it off was I'd always been into like Spider-Man, Batman, all those like well-known properties of comics.
Mm-hmm.
And watching, the Marvel movies, that started getting me into it. And then Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the TV show.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I was like, you know what? I was kind of just looking on the internet and I found there was a comic. And so I bought it on like eBay or Amazon or something, and then started going to a local shop. Actually found out my brother was getting comics from that shop too.
Oh, cool.
After the fact, but didn't even know this.
So he was buying comics and you didn't know.
Yeah.
You didn't know he was getting them. All right.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
And so, so that kind of kicked it off. And then, so this was around the time of, right before they had the Secret Wars event. happened. So a lot of series were ending, and then Secret Wars happened, and so I kind of jumped in with Secret Wars, and then kind of all new series starting right after that. And so it ended up being a pretty good time to get into things with all the new number ones with Marvel.
Totally. Even DC, right? That was Rebirth.
Was DC also doing that time.
Yeah, okay.
I did jump in kind of Marvel only at the
okay.
too. So that for me, that was kind of where I wanted to start out, and I kind of just jumped into everything.
Yeah.
And I didn't know anything about like indie comics back then. So
sure.
I've come a long way from where I collected then to, you know, almost mainly that's what I read is you know, the indies.
Yep.
But yeah, that was the big thing that got me into it, was just the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all of the MCU stuff going on.
Yep.
But I don't know why I didn't get into it sooner. I had been in comic shops before with friends during college.
Mm-hmm. But you just never picked one up.
Never picked one up.
Yeah. Man, that's interesting. So you mentioned earlier that so it's like you were like, I've always been into, you know, you named some, you know, Spider-Man, Batman, some of the obvious big names. Was that like, when you say you were into them, you were into them based on like the shows, the movies, the video games, or?
Actually, I remember playing like I had this like demo for, I think it was PlayStation 1 maybe, or PlayStation 2 of like a Spider-Man game, and I remember playing that all the time.
Yeah.
But I had like, growing up, I had like little toys, action figures of Spider-Man and Batman and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't remember specifically watching like the Spider-Man cartoons or anything like that. Yeah. But like I had the like collectibles and things, or you get them from the Happy Meals or something.
Yeah.
But never picked up a comic until 2014.
That's interesting, and I love hearing the idea that it's, you know, the shows that had kind of re-pulled you into, or even just, you know, sparked, no pun intended, but sparked that first interest right away of like, oh, you know what, like I'm really digging this show. The movies for Marvel have just been awesome. Why not, you know, explore a little bit of the paper side of things?
Yeah.
So I thought that's you know, I love hearing that, because that's even today. I mean, that's what kind of got me into things, was just like I was always watching the movies. I was always up to date with the movies, and I watched the cartoons when I was younger and things like that. I just never, you know, got into the reading aspect of things, and up until more recently. So I feel like we're kind of on the same path. You were a couple years ahead of me. But I just love hearing that, because I love hearing that, you know, new and newer readers hopefully continue to keep, you know, coming into this hobby based on the shows, you know, that are out right now, the Disney Plus stuff, you know, plus all the different movies that are constantly coming out and other TV shows. So it's a good avenue to kind of influence others.
I've seen that happen, like in my shop now, like Invincible, like that got people to come into the shop looking for the comics.
Yep. Great point. Yeah. And that's, just want to see more of that, man. Just more of that influence. I see we got Caroline's Comics in the house. Just mentioned her earlier. What's going on, Caroline? Good to see you. Yeah. So 2014. So, all right. So tell me a little bit about, well, actually, let me, two different directions. Let me focus on this one first. Comic-Cons. Are you big on Comic-Cons, or were you ever big on Comic-Cons? Have you ever been to one? And if you have, what was that and when was it?
So I did go to one pre-pandemic, and I went to it was Tampa Bay Comic Con in 2017, 2018, in Florida, and I went there though, like not with someone who was into comics, and so that kind of made it, you know, it was okay. I had fun. They didn't really, and so it was kind of like kind of a wash. So I was like, all right, I didn't go back the next year or the year after, and then, you know, we had pandemic, and I've kind of, with my schooling and job and stuff, had been kind of in different places, and then I went to just recently Pensacola Comic Con, Pensacon.
Oh, cool.
And what was that? It was in the last month. Nice.
And I saw pictures. Yeah, that's right.
Actually, the picture that you had for the thumbnail was from there.
Yeah.
We were waiting outside in the line, about to go in, and so that I went there with Nola Comics. We drove over together, and that was a blast. Like,
Yeah.
Scout Comics was there, and we talked to some of the creators, Jonathan Hedrick, David Byrne,
Nice.
and like, yeah, it was such a cool time digging in the bins there. That's the type of con that I want to go to.
Yep.
I don't know if I'd be as into like the ones that are more focused on like media and like all these guests and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of them stray away for sure on, not all technically comic focused. So it's nice to go to some of those smaller cons that are a little more focused on just that. Caroline's Comics saying Umbrella Academy did it for her. Travis here too saying Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is underrated, which I've heard that. I've definitely heard that. And there's Eric as well. So really then, I mean, this con that you went to, I mean, would that have been like your first real strong experience with a Comic-Con? Where you went with other people that
would be the second con I've been to.
Wow. Okay.
So, we ran into Southern Comic Geek there as well.
Oh, Jason was there. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So he drove down and met us there on the second day of the con.
Okay. Where are you based out of, Sparks?
So I'm in New Orleans.
You are? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So it was like 3-4 hours to get to Pensacola, and then he's in Mississippi, so he's kind of part of the way there.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys just drove there.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, actually, so now I'm like looking at other cons coming up. There's like another local one here that's actually like 45 minutes away from here, but it's a very small con.
Yeah.
And then I'm looking at very likely going to Baltimore Comic Con.
Yes, dude, we'll be there, man. We will be there. I've been I'm teaming up with Team Nerd Herd, splitting a room with them, and but we'll definitely be there, man. We'll have to meet up.
We're our D&D crew is planning on going together and meeting up there. So.
Oh, sweet, dude. It's going to be huge, man. I've talked to a good amount of people already that are saying like Baltimore Comic-Con is, it works because it's like, it's far enough away where, if you're still like getting comfortable with going out, like, we still have some time. And then at the same time, it's, it can't be any sooner, it's like right around the corner, and it's in a good place. I feel like it's in a good location.
Yeah. So, like New York Comic Con will happen before that. But for me, like I said, I'm looking at more the more comic focused cons versus New York is going to be more media focused with some, obviously some comic stuff. And then I'm looking at maybe going to AwesomeCon in Washington D.C.
Oh, nice.
But I haven't decided on that one. There'll be it's part of that's like the people we've been interviewing.
Right.
I'm like, what cons are you guys thinking about coming up? And a lot of them are saying Baltimore.
Okay.
One thing, but then also there's been some people saying AwesomeCon potentially. So I'm like, kind of want to like, they're like, hey, let's meet up and like grab drinks together and something like that. Like, yeah, totally. I want to go do that.
Absolutely. Wait, so that's in DC. When is that? AwesomeCon?
I think that's August.
Oh my goodness, that's tempting. That's very tempting.
I know. I have a tab open somewhere that has AwesomeCon. Got a couple like tabs with cons. August 20th, 22nd.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Wow. That's right around the corner too, man. Oh, that's tempting because I could definitely drive down even for a day. I would do something like that. Or maybe if I can coordinate with somebody to do something. But that would be cool. I saw here aggressively relaxing, hanging out with us. He said he agrees. It's the best. Also loving these interviews. I appreciate you, man, for hanging out and supporting the channel for sure.
Relaxing has the best name too.
I was gonna say it's one of my favorites for sure on YouTube, on all of YouTube. It's one of my favorites. I saw Battle 66 saying that X11 Bravo's messages aren't showing up, but he says we were able to get over
750.
Oh shoot. Oh, am I there? Oh, sweet. All right. Hey, look at that. Now you know how it's tricky though. Sometimes these YouTube things, people, the numbers fluctuate a little, but I'll take it though.
52.
Sweet. All right. Wow. Good stuff. That's
awesome.
all you, Sparks. You bring in the crew, man. I appreciate it.
That is awesome.
Yeah, very cool. And shout out to everybody who shares this all the time. I get so many great people that share the show and give shout outs. I really appreciate that. So I just want to take a moment to shout out to everybody. Appreciate all that effort and just taking the time to do that really touches my heart, man. The support that I get. So appreciate all that. And sorry to X11 Bravo. I have no idea why he can't post right now because he shouldn't be blocked or anything. But I don't know. Maybe refresh your page or I'll have to take a look later. But I appreciate you watching. Caroline's Comics, she was saying before she's going to be at Baltimore, and she also says, "Do it, Justin. I'm trying to go to DC too." That would be awesome. That's very tempting. Yeah, for sure. Maybe have to make some plans. Real Rude 6 in the house. What's going on, brother? Thanks for stopping in. And we also got my man Chet Scotland in the house. Chet I Knight says, "Hey Justin, I don't know. I don't think I know your guest, but he began like X-Men. Oh, nice to meet you. Yeah, Chet, man. Yeah, he's a good guy. Chat, make sure you're following SparksComics. He's got some good stuff. So I wanted to ask you a little bit about the cons because I was curious about where you were, especially since you were new. Since I consider you newer to comics in that you've under 10 years or whatever in my definition of things. So it's cool to hear that you're still getting experiences of cons coming up, or that you'll have these experiences, and now knowing the community and everything else, it's like it's going to amplify even more so. And that's one thing I want to ask you too is, what are your thoughts on this? Let me back up here. Sorry. So let me start with this. Why did you start an Instagram account, and why did you start a YouTube channel, and what came first of the two?
So the Instagram started first. Actually, I used my personal Instagram originally, was following some people. That was probably back in 2014, 2015 when I started collecting. I was like, oh, let me just see what other people are out there collecting.
Yep.
Don't know why I don't know why I even started to look at that. I can't explain it. I just did.
Yeah.
Then I was using, there was a collecting app thing that was called Boxes that I used for a while. Mm-hmm. It shut down.
Oh.
And so when that happened, I was like, well, let me look at just creating an Instagram just to post comics.
Yep.
And started finding people in the community, started posting more and more in that regard. And that was probably a couple year period there.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't till it was last year during the pandemic that I was like, well, let me try this YouTube thing and talk about comics. I think actually, I don't know if Sith, I think he's listening. He said he's cleaning and listening. But our interactions on Instagram, and then I think he was one of the first people that commented on my stuff, and then we started talking more, and then they started doing the SpineTicks stuff. That's where I ended up, hanging out with them.
Yep.
And it just kind of snowballed from there. I just started doing more and more stuff. I don't even know how the FOC stuff started.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I think I created a short video of stuff on FOC that I wanted to, tell people about. And then,
yeah.
Who was it? There's some people, they're just you should do it live and interact with people.
Yeah. Sith says, first video I would watch in the morning is Sparks videos. Yeah. I remember always hearing Sith, as you started to, and this is probably still fairly recent, but as you started cranking out the Spark Notes, videos that you were doing, I remember Sith always highlighting them and saying next morning just wake up and new uploaded video from SparksComics ready to go, ready to dive in and start hearing about some new cool book that you're reading. So yeah, man, it's a good channel, man. I love the content you're putting out there, man. And I know you put a lot of effort into it. I know we've talked about this behind the scenes in the past, and I know you do a lot of reading and a lot of support to a lot of creators, writers, and artists, and it takes a lot of time, but you're definitely putting in the work, man, and it's recognized. So it's good stuff.
Yeah. As you can see, I haven't done too many of those Sparks Notes videos recently. I got a little lazy on those, but that took a little bit of a break. We haven't had any interviews in the last little bit, just to kind of take a breather, not overdo it,
Totally.
and then
I think it's good. I think it's good to sometimes you need to have that reset or that kind of, I mean, plus look, I mean, you're still doing other stuff. So it's like you're constantly putting stuff out. So, you got to find time for it somewhere.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, very cool. So, so where did, and I think I understand the answer to this now that I know your email address, but where did the name SparksComics come from?
Yeah, that's my last name.
Okay, that's
Yep.
I didn't want to assume, but I'm like, well, it does yeah, now it kind of feels
which is funny because it's a cool name for the comics,
Totally.
and then like just worked out really well.
Yep, it's perfect for your branding.
Yeah, and so actually, so my logo design, I had someone on Instagram. Well, yeah, it's there. It's down the corner too.
There you go. Yeah.
But I had someone on Instagram. Oh gosh, I haven't talked to him recently. It's been a while.
He designed it for you though.
But yeah, he designed it. I was going to shout him out. Doyle Comic Art.
Oh, okay.
He does a lot of like symbiote stuff, and so. But I was more heavily into like the Venom stuff. We interacted a lot, and he was like doing logos and stuff for people, and I hit him up, and I had the idea of incorporating Sparks somehow, and he got the Sparks. Oh, it won't focus there, but the Sparks behind my name, Sparks.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I thought that was really cool. And then Spider-Man's gonna always be one of those characters that I love, so we had kind of that idea of the spider sense going off, and all that. So that was just cool thing to incorporate with the name into the design.
Hell yeah, man! It ties in perfectly. It really does. Oh man, I see a couple familiar names that I haven't seen. I see Kenneth Bird hanging out with us. What's going on, Kenneth? Good to see you. Caroline's coming saying, and my work has been mental lately.
Yeah. we try to not overdo it when all that's going on too.
Yep, I totally get it. Jason saying that's cool. The last name, it's cool. Yep, just in general, it's a cool last name. We got my man Alstrand's comic collection. What's going on, Alstrand? Feel like I haven't caught up with you in a bit. Good to see you.
Yeah.
So guess who's back?
Good to see him.
We got Voice Injection as well, or sorry, Voice Inject. I don't know why I always want to say Injection, but Voice Inject is in the house. He's been just a great supporter of the channel, so appreciate you, my friend, for swinging by. Yeah, so very cool. So yeah, I'm always curious about again how this the Instagram stuff, the YouTube stuff, how that develops, and then on top of that, kind of how people come up with their names and things like that. So it's always cool to kind of hear some of these stories of these backgrounds. And in this case, with you, with it being your last name, yeah, that just is perfect all around. So
yeah,
very cool. Yeah, exactly. So I earlier I called you the Prince of Indies, or the Indie Prince, and one of the big reasons for that, and I know you already kind of touched on some of it, is the fact that you are very into the indie books that are out now. I mean, I know that you have read Marvel. I know you have read DC. You do support both to some degree, but I know a lot of your time and your passion, more recently at least, has gone into the indie titles. And I have to say, man, you are somebody who's definitely given me the inspiration of wanting to explore more and review more and just dive into giving indies a shot, whether I like the art or not, or whether I like the title or not, or whatever. I'm just like, you know what? Because as you say in a lot of your your streams and stuff, like there's some great books out there, some great artists and great writers that don't get the limelight the way Marvel and DC shine.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see someone else in the community, and I know there's some great people, some great creators out there, YouTube creators. But it's nice to see someone like yourself who's really making that push and helping highlight that kind of stuff. So my question with that is, well, I want to kind of get into just a couple things like on what you're reading right now, because I know that's a long list, but if you could give us kind of a top 5 or something, what are some things you're currently enjoying?
Oh man. I was going to highlight a couple that I think kind of just started, books that just started.
Perfect.
One of them, I think you might have talked about this on Thursday.
Hey, yes, I did.
So, I mean,
you interviewed them, right?
Big Behemoth fan. Yeah, so we interviewed Kevin and Rob. We had them on the channel. So this is the first book from Behemoth's Happy Tank imprint. And it's if you want a typical standard comic style book, this isn't the book for you.
Right.
But if you want something wild and zany and like just a crazy story that Kevin says is a peek inside his mind, this is an awesome story. You want some crazy kind of non-traditional lettering done right here, and that's one of the things that I really love about it.
Yep, I'm with you there, man. I definitely had mixed feelings going into the day that I talked about it on that Thursday, and I do think it was something that I think it's something worth rereading for sure. As like you said, it just stands. It's so different. It is so different. That was one of the big things that I took away from it as a positive was the fact that the lettering, the way the usage of the lettering and the location of things was so unique. That really stood out to me. So that's a great one, and I do think it's worth checking out. So, and I have to go back and check your interview with them because that's really cool with Kevin and them.
Yeah, they're great. And there's one, I'll say there's one coming up from them too, from Happy Tank called Cinnamon that I did interview with the creator Victoria Douglas. It's phenomenal.
Nice.
Story about a cat that sees the world a little bit differently and really loves catnip.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, wow, okay, I think is the right reaction.
Right. That was my reaction. I was just like, what did I just read? I was a little, questioning some things, but yeah, it is such an interesting take on comics. So I'm about it.
Yeah, this is a newer series from AWA Upshot. Martin Finnegan, Temporal Criminal.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't read this one. AWA though, they've been putting out good stuff.
Yeah, it's like I think the comparisons I can make for other books going on right now, actually the closest one would be to Space Bastards, which I really enjoy too.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
In that the it's just wild.
Yeah.
Not plot line or anything, but just the wildness of it, and they aren't afraid to go certain places.
Okay. Cool.
But yeah, storyline wise, completely different. She's time traveling and kind of stealing random things. It's not even like she's targeting certain things. She's just kind of like, ooh, shiny, and takes it and jumps back in time.
Nice.
There's a little bit of like her sister's like almost like a time cop.
Yeah.
And so has to bring her in.
Okay. Jason here was showing some love. He says Sparks definitely has highlighted incredible books that otherwise I would not have or that I wouldn't have any idea about. That's for sure. And Sith is agreeing with you with this Marjorie Finnegan.
Yeah,
very, very fun.
There's a lot of books that I could talk about that I'm like, you guys know about Basilisk, about Geiger, Nice House on the Lake.
Hell yeah.
Body, Proctor Valley Road, all great things that I'm reading. Eve, I know you're loving Eve.
Hell yeah. Yep. Right now is just the best. I feel like it's the best time to be reading comics. I really do.
Yeah. I gotta always shout this one out though. You promised me Darkness.
Oh man, I have not read it yet. I have my copy. I just haven't read it yet.
Man.
Issue. I need to get on it.
Damien,
I hear great things.
Great job. Like, so he does the art and the writing in this.
Okay.
And then Anna, who did the Black Cat cover here, the variant, she does actually the translations on it.
Oh, okay, cool.
And so though he speaks some English, it's not perfect, and so they work together to get the meaning across with it.
Yep.
So I got to talk, Caroline and I got to talk to him in an interview, and it's just, the story is so wild, but it's a great time. And if you're into weird superpowers that have been given to people by a comet, and the apocalypse is coming, the apocalypse triggered by, and though he can't admit that this is the song, but oh god, now I'm blanking on the song. I can picture the guy, Gangnam Style.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I remember that song.
that song triggers the apocalypse.
Oh wow, that's hysterical.
He can't admit that is the song, rights and all that. But
sure.
The character that is drawn very much looks like the singer of that song.
That's hilarious.
The dance moves he's doing are very similar. Yeah.
But
I agree with comics are great. Nottingham is another great one.
Yeah, so that's when I started to pick up. I'm behind on it though. I actually missed issue 1, so I think I'm gonna have to read that digitally. But or I know they had a couple of reprints now at this point. But yeah, I've heard good things. I've definitely heard good things.
And then in the like Indiegogo world,
Mm,
Kickstarter world, this is just so cool.
cool.
You know who did the cover art on this?
No, who's that?
David Finch.
Oh, whoa, that's awesome. Dragon Rage.
Yeah, so their second chance campaign just ended recently, but they're going to be working on issue 2 of this right now, so I'm sure then there'll be another chance at issue number 1.
Oh, sweet.
But like you look at the interiors are almost similar to David Finch's style.
Wow.
It's crazy cool, like fantasy story.
Nice.
Page One Comics is the people that are doing that, and they actually have their own YouTube channel where they highlight indie comics, Kickstarters, Indiegogos, and stuff like that.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. I see Anthony saying, good luck finding the reprints. They're all sold out. I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it. Well, hope maybe they'll do a 4th or whatever number they're on.
They just announced another whole set of reprints, I think.
Okay, there you go. I'll get one of them eventually.
It might be coming up on one of the FOCs, so
oh, nice.
I'll highlight them when they.
There you go. Please do. I'll put the order in. We got Kevin in the house. What's going on, Kevin? Good to see you. Thanks for hanging out with us today. While I have you blown up here, Jeremy, do you have a couple books that you want to talk about that you want to show off that means something special to you?
Yeah, sure. So I'll start with two Marvel books. One of the characters that I first read about early into my reading was Spider-Man. Yeah. And so I unfortunately was not reading when this came out, but this was one that I went back and I was like, I have to pick this up. And I picked it up raw and had it submitted through one of my comic shops. And so just going through that experience and getting it back in the 9.8 and being one of those early characters that I was reading, this one means a lot from that regard.
Jeez. I assume you paid a fairly low price for it compared to what it's going for now.
At the time, raw, I think it was like 100.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. So to have it now and seeing what's happened and seeing what her character has become and gotten to be on the big screen in an animated movie, that's awesome.
Yep.
And then another character that I think is just fun, and I was very happy to have gotten this off the shelf on New Comic Book Day when it happened. But
nice.
Gwenpool, her first appearance in Howard the Duck, the variant with her on the cover, who was ordering a lot of Howard the Duck at the time, but I got lucky at the shop that morning, and that was the first time I feel like I went and specifically was like, I need to find this variant.
Yeah.
Other times it was just, I was picking up stuff, I saw a variant, I thought, that's cool, I'll grab that. This was like the first one I really went and hunted for at the shop. And then the one that I think pushed me into the indie world a lot more than I already was.
Whoa.
Was this
Damn.
one.
That's a big boy right there.
That has now become a big boy. Yeah.
Yes, that has. Wow.
So when I bought this, it was already signed in CBCS. The other cool thing about this, besides just the book and what that means to me, was that this is a verified signature versus the witnessed. So I thought that was really cool that with what CBCS has done with their slabs and being able to verify.
That's a great point.
So this was cheaper at the time than you got a CGC, if you got even I think a non-signed CBCS 9.8, because it was people were like, it's a witness. I don't want or not a witnessed.
Right.
So I was like, hey, cool. I will
I'll take it. Yeah.
I'll take it. And it was the right price at that time.
Hell yeah.
I still don't believe what's happened with the prices of that series, but
it's insane.
One of those series that to me, I started reading at the beginning, and it just, I think as I was reading that, I started exploring more and more things from Boom, started expanding, the indie books that I was reading, and that led me to where I am today, where my indie pools are probably like 95% of what I read.
Yep.
A couple series from Marvel and DC that I'm like, this, the writer or what they're doing with this story is why I'm on this, or the character is why I'm on this, versus just kind of like before. I think I used to just read all of the Marvel stuff because like, I want to know what's going on in all parts of the Marvel universe.
Yeah, the universe. Yeah.
Now I'm like, I'm good with my pocket of the Marvel universe, or
Yep. I've kind of come to that realization for myself as well, because and a big part of that is just because it's almost impossible to just keep up with everything, and especially when you're dipping your feet in other things outside of Marvel, or any, if you're in DC, if you're dipping your toes outside of DC, like it is very difficult to just have that time to do everything, and obviously just life and content and everything else. So I've kind of come to that same realization, and trying to just stick to some of my X-Men and some of these one-off things that I'm reading, like America Chavez and things like that. And then, just letting the rest kind of go. If I have time to catch up with things later, I mean, that's why trades are around.
Yeah.
Perfect for that. But hey, you're getting a lot of praise here. I see some good stuff in the comments. I also want to say hello to Mercy Collectibles, Andres, all the way from Sweden. Good to see you, my friend. Kevin here saying great to see such a great panel. Appreciate that. H. Lee in the chat as well. What up, world? Good to see you. I also saw my man Manny Station, brother. Good to see you as well. Kevin saying great slab. We got Steve here as well. I think I caught you earlier, Steve. Yeah. So appreciate everybody kind of hanging out. I see Todd also saying I'm that way with DC. I try to get as many DC books as I can. Yeah. Wherever your focused is, like how you were saying, Jeremy, you're 90%. In the indie stuff. We pick and choose our battles, and enjoy stick to what we enjoy, which makes sense. So
yeah,
I dig it, man. And congrats on those books, man. Some massive books that you just showed off there, and it's cool that you have this special connection to each of them.
I feel like if I didn't have that connection, I probably would have had to sell them because of the prices that have like gone on them.
Totally, yeah.
But like those are books that for me, like unless something bad happens and I have to sell, I'm keeping, for as long as I can.
Yep. No, I like it. Those kind of like the forever type books, the ones that the last to go kind of thing.
Yeah.
Travis here saying I get mainly DC and indies. I saw PJ also saying DC has been putting out some great books recently. DC has been hitting hard grand slams recently. I totally agree with that, PJ. Definitely enjoying a lot of DC stuff, which kind of what you were saying, Sparks. Like when I kind of was refocusing my collection and what I wanted to do, I actually had to cut DC out altogether. And this was, going back, 3 years ago, 2 years ago. I made that decision. A lot of it was because, I couldn't own everything, didn't want to spend money on everything. I just had to focus on certain things. So DC was the first thing to go. But I'm kind of glad that I'm dipping my toes back into it because, as PJ is saying here, DC's definitely put out some really great home runs. So well said there. Let's see. Let's get to. We're about 43 minutes in. I appreciate everybody hanging out with us. We got 21 people. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. Make sure you're following Jeremy. I put his information in the description below for SparksComics, his YouTube channel and Instagram. Before we get into some of the wild, rapid questions that we kind of, I always enjoy closing out with, I got two other questions for you here, Jeremy. And the first one, tell me. I wanted to ask you. So you've been building up this collection now. Obviously, you post, on a weekly basis, all the different books that you pick up, and some weeks are definitely larger than others. I imagine over time, and this is something I've brought up a lot on my channel recently. I imagine over time it's starting to really take up some room, some space, and build on your collection and all these different boxes that you may have around your house. What is the big picture goal for you? At least right now, I know goals change, but at least as of right now, where do you see your collection years from now? I mean, is this something that, do you plan to eventually sell some books? Do you plan to pass them down to other family members at some point, maybe? Or do you plan to just keep all these things until, you bring them to the grave with you?
Just buried with them. I mean, I don't know way down the line, but I know, just one, like you said, space wise, you got to sell something at some point to make room for more things to
Yeah.
collect and read. So I have been going through and trying to find some stuff to sell from actually mainly some of my Marvel stuff that I have, to make way for more of the indie stuff.
Yeah.
But mainly, like right now, where I am with my collecting, it's to read and to enjoy the stories. So from that perspective, I'm not doing a lot of selling, but mainly selling to make room for the collection.
Yeah.
Down the line, I don't know. If I can't see that I'll ever get bored with reading comics because there's such good stories.
Yeah.
But I may have to, pick the stories that I love the most, keep those with me, and sell those ones that, were good, but not my favorites.
Right. Didn't resonate the same way certain other ones did. That makes sense. Yeah, man. As I mentioned, like, it's something I've talked about for a while, and obviously there's, you keep bringing home 10 to 20 books each week. It definitely adds up over time. And if you project out, 10 years from now, and let's say you keep up on that pace, then the question becomes, do you have that space still comfortably? I mean, hey, if you have the space, great. If you can pull it off, awesome. But so it's just something I like to kind of bring up.
Yeah, I think my thing, and this happened with, like, when I used to collect Funko Pops a lot.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I still have a lot of them, but I haven't gotten rid of most of them. But
yeah,
in my head, I would always see people post, oh, well, I got to go to storage to check out, get this pop from storage or something like that.
Right,
in my head, I said, if I ever feel like I need to put things in storage, that is when I definitely need to sell things.
Right. That's the sign. Yeah.
I never want to have more than I feel like is comfortably sitting, around.
Yep. No, that makes sense. Yeah, and that's totally something to consider. I mean, I've heard, storage stories before. I've also heard storage nightmares before, which kind of scare me. So, but I do think that's kind of a good way to recognize if, hey, maybe I need to figure something out soon. I want to say a quick hello to George, Ragin Cajun Comics in the house. Good to see you, my friend. So, all right, and last question here before we get into some of the rapid stuff. If you could give a piece of advice to someone new that might just be getting into the collecting hobby or the reading hobby, any angle, whether if you want to be very detailed about it or very broad, what is one piece of advice that you would give to someone considering getting into this hobby?
I mean, it's the thing I always say: collect what you love. So kind of explore. Try a little bit of indie, try a little bit of DC, a little bit of Marvel. Find what you like reading, and just stick with that. Always test the water and the other things now and again. But
sure,
like you said, you going back into a little bit of DC right now. But don't buy something just because it's the popular thing to have and
the
read.
FOMO.
Or just like, oh, everyone's like, oh, this story is awesome. If you don't like the story, don't buy it. Like, find the thing that you love. I'll talk about stories. I know people don't always like all the ones that I'm talking about, but you don't have to collect that one. That one's not for you. Avoid the FOMO. Exactly.
Yeah. No, well said. 100% agreed there. It's definitely, it's certainly challenging at times, and especially as we are all really wrapped within this community and seeing other people talk about certain things and, certain pieces of content that are out there that may encourage certain acts like that, to pick up certain books for whatever the reason may be. It definitely comes down to this kind of self-control, and I think it's important to kind of hear this stuff, even as people who've been collecting now for years, to hear this once in a while. It's just a nice refresher too, to just let me slow down and figure out again, like, what is it that I love? Oh yeah, okay, like let me.
I gotta tell myself that too.
Absolutely, yeah. No, it's a great piece of advice for anybody, no matter what part of the journey you're in. I think it's well said. We got my man Ian here hanging out with us. Hood Rat Comics from Team Nerd Herd. Good to see you, Ian. Thanks for stopping in, my friend. Let's see. Everybody's saying hi to each other. Yeah. But yeah, so well said, man. I always like to kind of just bring that up because I think that this hobby can sometimes be a little intimidating. There's a lot of people that know a lot of different things about this, and for those who may lack some of that knowledge, I could see it being a little intimidating. So it's always good to kind of hear some advice and kind of where people stand with what they would do when they first started. So appreciate you for that, my friend. Like I said, we're coming up on 50 minutes here. Everybody, if you are not already subbed to SparksComics, please do so. Put all his information in the description below with his Instagram and everything. If you guys are watching the replay right now, always appreciate you taking that time to watch that replay. Make sure you hit that thumbs up as well. So let's dive into some of the rapid fire stuff. These are questions obviously I have not prepared you for, so I am very curious where you stand with some of this stuff. Bring it on, he says, bring it on. So let's start off with some of the basics here, and this is going to be an interesting one because of the fact that you've now really jumped into indie related stuff. So I'm curious what your answer is for this, but if you had to choose one all-time favorite character from a comic book, what would that one favorite character be?
I still will go Spider-Man.
Okay. Yeah. No doubt. And that's why I said that, because I'm like, well, I know that it certainly has a place in your heart for some of these more known characters.
I'll say this character's made her way.
Oh, yeah. So that was the other side of my thought process, was like, I wonder if he'll go in this direction, because I know that that you love that stuff too. So yeah, that's cool, man.
Noah Ray, the artist for one of the Kickstarters that I had them on the channel, Dino Thrashers. He made that for me, so thanks for having them on the channel. Very nice, nice. The art just blows my mind.
Hell yeah, man. Absolutely. And of that character especially.
Yeah.
So all right, so we'll go with Spider-Man for now as your favorite character. If
loves me for that answer.
What yeah, JR.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
The very anti Spider-Man guy.
Yeah.
What if you had one superpower, what would that superpower be?
Oh man. God, I feel like I've answered this before and I don't remember what I've said in the past, but honestly, I think flying. I think that would be cool, but you gotta have a little bit of super strength to be able to fly.
Right. There you go.
We can give you the flying ability, right? So I mean, especially during the pandemic, that was something I was thinking about. It'd be cool to just be able to fly and go different places. And
absolutely.
Hopping on a plane.
Heck yeah, man. Yeah. And whenever you want to, you don't have to go through any process of, waiting to get on an airplane or any of that stuff.
I'm hiking in the mountains now. Like,
yep.
All right. Oh, this con I just landed. I'm here.
It makes me think of Invincible. I know we were talking about Invincible a little bit earlier, and just being able to just coast wherever you want to go, or
right,
anything you got to do, errands that you got to run, things like that.
That restaurant, what was it? Restaurant in Italy or something?
Yeah.
Some food from there, please.
Yep. Bring it back home. I love it. If you could, all right. So here, this is a tough one, I feel like, but I'm curious what comes to mind for you. What is your, we'll say current. What's your favorite current comic book artist that's out right now? If you had to choose one.
Making me. So we're talking interiors or covers, because that's
just artists. It can go any way. Get a good look at that wall.
I gotta go Jenny Frison.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, I'm kind of so I'm looking actually you can see we got Justine Franny, Jenny Frison, Zoe Lachey. That's some of the tops there for me.
Yep.
And then I mean, you can't say no to some of the art and Some Things Killing Children, where they're Deladera.
True.
But yeah, Frison usually takes it for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got a lot of Frison right behind you too, with all those those variants there. Yep, couple there,
up there somewhere too.
Very nice, very nice. Hey man, can't go wrong with that, man. Sith here too, saying Jenny Frison is the correct answer. Ding ding ding. Yeah, exactly. So well said. Let's see. What was the last comic book that you read?
What did I read last? Oof.
It's all blur.
Might have been Geiger. The Geiger 3 might have
Okay.
been the last one.
And did
Although
you like it?
I was doing a reread through this
Oh, nice.
recently too. They're actually doing a writing contest
Oh, cool.
to be able to like get into like a little anthology story within their stuff.
Nice.
So I'm
Oh,
thinking
very
about trying to do that, but I gotta like reread it to remember everything that's going on.
Totally. Very cool. Very cool. What's your favorite what's your favorite comic book based film or TV show?
It's
These are deep questions, man. So really, you gotta.
no,
There's a lot out there.
I haven't seen Sweet Tooth yet, so I can't comment on that.
Okay.
Do
you plan on watching Sweet Tooth?
I started watching like the first few minutes of it, and then I was tired and went to bed, so I didn't watch it. Invincible was just solid. Like it's like that, The Boys, and the animated Into the Spider-Verse.
The movie, yeah.
Like those are always my top ones going on in my head right now. I'll go Invincible. Like that was just solid.
Hell yeah, man. It's all around good, man. I feel like there's a lot of different angles at that show. And my girlfriend and I just caught up not too long ago with it, and we were blown away as well. We didn't even know what we were getting into. So,
I only had
imagine the surprise.
Taste of what I was getting into. I think I'd read volume 1 and 2 of it digitally at one point.
Yeah.
And it's
crazy.
So much better than
My girlfriend was like, what are we watching after that first episode? We were just like, what did we just watch? I was like, I'm not sure, but we need to watch more.
Yeah, I just saw that, that like Anakin and Padme meme that's been going on.
Oh, yeah.
It's like showing Omni-Man, and it's like, the quote of something about, you can't conquer Earth or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, because you're protecting it, right?
Yeah.
You're protecting it, right?
It's great.
Probably some spoilers there, but it's been out.
Yeah, you got some time at this point. All right, what about I always like asking this question. What if you could go back in time, like literal time travel, and buy one book off the shelf at cover price, whatever that time period was, but the thing is you can't sell it. It's a book that will literally go to the grave with you. What would that one key issue be?
I mean, it's got to be Amazing Fantasy 15.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Now that you mentioned Spider-Man, yeah, that's.
I mean,
that makes sense.
I could see Amazing Spider-Man 14. That's another one that I'd think about too, but probably Amazing Fantasy 15 would be my first choice.
That's fair. Let's see. All right, so I'm going to switch this up a little bit, Jeremy, and ask you a couple questions that are not related to comics, just to get to know a little bit more about you here. So I want to start off with music. What is your favorite genre of music, and do you have a favorite artist or band?
Mainly like alternative rock, that kind of that, maybe a little bit more into like the indie rock kind of vibe too.
Okay.
Do I have a favorite? Man, I listen to a lot of different stuff. AWOL Nation's up there. Matt and Kim also.
Oh, I love Matt and Kim. I haven't heard them in a while actually, but
I've
used to love them.
Kim live twice. I've seen AWOL Nation live twice, so they're kind of
nice.
They're kind of up there.
Hell yeah, man! Those are great choices. Actually, I would love to see them live. Both of those bands would be really cool to see.
Matt and Kim, very fun live. Like,
a
great live show. Like, especially if you get them in a small venue. First time I saw it was like an indoor venue, like super kind of small. It was a blast.
Nice. I love those kinds because they can be really like engaging with the audience, and you get to hear a lot. You're just up close, so it's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. I like it. What about are you a sports guy? And if you are, what's your favorite sports and who are your favorite teams?
I don't watch a lot of sports. College football, the Gators. That's where I went to school was UF.
Nice. Okay.
And then hockey, Tampa Bay Lightning.
Okay.
They're my team. Baseball, I really don't watch much anymore, but I used to play when I was younger, and I grew up with the Tampa Bay Rays starting in 1998.
Nice.
So they'll always be my team because of that.
Totally.
Back when they were the Devil Rays instead of the Rays.
Right.
So poorly, they thought they needed to remove the devil from the name in order to play better.
Right.
Not sure that actually worked originally, but eventually it got better.
I see PJ saying the Yankees is the only correct answer. I'm with you, PJ.
Hey, I mean, so like growing up in Florida, we had like some of the single A teams in the area. So the Dunedin Blue Jays, Clearwater was Phillies, Tampa had the Yankees.
Oh, okay.
If you went a little bit outside of that, there was like I think maybe it was the Padres. Somebody had a team in like Bradenton. So yeah, it was cool seeing all those other teams and like their players that maybe eventually made it up into the majors.
Yeah.
See them play at like the lower level.
Totally. I love those kind of stories that you hear.
Actually, Kevin Cash, the manager of the Rays.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I watched him play for the Dunedin Blue Jays.
Oh, cool. Okay.
One of my brothers has like a game worn hat from him from that. Like,
oh, sweet.
So I probably have like baseballs signed by him somewhere. But yeah.
That was wild.
Cool when he became the manager. It was like, oh shoot, I saw that guy like growing up playing.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. That's very cool. I saw Steve here saying before, do you like the Strokes?
I like some of their songs. I don't know if I've listened to like full albums by them, but I've heard some of the like popular ones that have come out.
Yeah, they're a good group too. What is your favorite non-comic book related film of all time? What comes to mind?
Oh man,
this is a big one because this is obviously just everything.
I know, because I feel like recently the only things I've been watching are like comic book influenced things. I really enjoyed Zombieland.
Oh, hey, yeah, heck yeah. I love. Yep, I really enjoyed that too.
I feel like I don't watch enough like thought-provoking movies. I watch kind of like the funny action, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, Zombieland, that was always a favorite.
I dig it. Let me see. What about if you could go on vacation anywhere for a week and it was paid and there was no pandemic, it was completely safe, where would you go if you could, you could take whoever you want? What would be the main place in the world that you'd want to travel to?
Never been out of the country, so like anywhere outside the country would
man, really? Okay.
It's probably like, it sounds more cliche, but like Paris or London, kind of do a tour.
Totally.
Because I've never gotten to do that. And then it's between that and like Japan would be such a cool trip too.
Hell yeah.
But I think Europe first, and then I'd be waiting on that second wish of another free.
You're right. And then you'd hit up Japan after that.
Yeah.
I love it. I feel like maybe you get a bigger bang for your buck going to Europe, because then you could kind of jump in between a bunch of the different countries if you wanted to.
I love that that's a thing versus like here it's like you can go state to state.
Right.
But you can go country to country over there. It's just
very different. Yeah. Nice choice. Let's see. We talked about that. Do you have any other hobbies other than comics?
So like I said, I used to collect Funko Pops. I still will occasionally like get some Spider-Man related ones, but for the most part, I've stopped getting those. When I was younger, I had a lot of like sports cards. I have Pokemon cards, but I don't pick those up anymore either, because that's another rabbit hole to go down.
Absolutely.
I read. I used to read a lot more than I read now. Books versus comics. That's another thing.
Yep.
I feel like mainly right now comics is my main hobby, but there's all these other things that I used to do that want to kind of go back to doing.
Yeah.
Trying different restaurants and stuff. That's always
nice.
I used to do that a lot where I used to live, and then haven't done it here yet. And I know this is the place to be able to do it. Like New Orleans has got the food.
Heck yeah.
Now that things are getting back open, I want to just kind of go on a food tour. Oh yeah. And because I'm forgetting things. Caroline's reminding me. D&D. Yeah, we play D&D on Travel and Root Beer's channel.
Yeah, a couple times a week, right?
Yeah, we were doing twice a week. We're getting close to the end of like the storyline of what we're doing right now. So
Yeah.
we're moving it to once a week now. But yeah, D&D is the kind of the new thing that takes up the rest of my time besides comics.
Yeah, hell yeah.
It's so much fun to play. So if you're into like fantasy kind of stuff, like,
Yep.
I'd always wanted to play. I knew people that played.
Yeah.
And it took the comic community to make it happen.
Yeah, it's cool that you're able to do it on a platform such as YouTube, and be able to continue to hang with people, especially during a pandemic where it feels like we couldn't get out for the longest time. So cool that you can keep interacting and actually play the games. Sith, shout out to New Orleans for the best food, as Sith is Mark mentioning there. Oh, the chat just jumped on me.
It did.
Man, that was a huge jump.
Along with San Francisco.
San Francisco has amazing food, diverse places. Hold on, let me get back to the top here. Well, I wanted to laugh at this. I saw some SMH going on about the Yankees from Ian. He said the A's are the Yankees farm team. True. Oh yeah, here along with San Francisco. Yeah, I haven't been there yet, but would like to go there at some point as well. Sheena in the house. What's going on, Sheena? Good to see you. Station. Yes, Sparks is almost on YouTube as much as Justin. Something every day, 3 times per. Yeah, man. Hey, when you're having fun, it's like, gotta roll with it, So yeah, and Steve, yeah, San Francisco, absolutely. Very cool. Hey, so I have one last question for you before we kind of close out here. It's of course the question that I always like to kind of hold for last, as it's gonna probably torture us, a lot of people in the chat right now, if it's around that time for eating or not. But I'm going to ask you about food here. If it's a Friday night and you get your choice of any type of dinner, meal, whatever you want to do for a Friday night, what's your go-to meal, whether it's ordering out or going to a restaurant or cooking or whatever you do? What comes to mind for you?
So like I said, I haven't gotten to explore too much of the restaurants here. So that's to be determined if there'll be a restaurant that becomes my
your favorite.
Yeah. But fast food wise, or kind of fast food, like pizza is always a easy go-to. Like if I just want to just chill, like that's my thing.
I'm with you there.
Shake Shack's just.
Oh God, Shake Shack's so good.
So good. Burger and a shake. That's also good, like Friday evening meal, like.
Yep.
And then cooking wise, I feel like I've gotten lazy recently. I haven't done it a lot, but
hey, I'm with you, man. I haven't done it my whole life, so I have nothing to say about it.
Like crock pot meal that you kind of let sit all day is always lots of things I've made in those that it's awesome.
Yep, that's more than me, man. That's already more than me. I want to say a quick hello to Zen Multiverse hanging out. Just saw him earlier streaming, playing some games. So good to see you, Zen. Thanks for hanging out with us today. But yeah, man, that first answer you threw out there, pizza, I think is where I kind of live with you, man. Especially like you said, if you want to chill and it's just easy, it's just something easy, just, have it delivered or whatever.
Often when we're going into like D&D Friday night kind of thing, order a pizza, nice, easy thing to grab. Yep.
Eat while you play or whatever, or eat while you read or whatever you're doing.
Yeah, usually probably eating, reading before D&D, and then heading into it.
Yep, exactly. We got my man Hyper Combo Comics in the house. He was on my channel not too long ago. Earlier this week, Hyper was hanging out with me actually. Let's see. Ragin was saying making breakfast while listening. Oh, there you go. Nice. He's cooking as we speak. Jason saying you need that Jersey pizza, Jeremy. Oof. Tell him, Justin. Yeah, man. It's some good stuff. Have you been up this way, Jeremy? Like New York, New Jersey?
I've been to New York once.
Okay.
Actually, so if you guys have seen from SpineTicks that I played Quidditch, right?
Yeah.
There was a World Cup held in New York, and we got second place at that World Cup.
Oh, cool.
first time we'd ever gone. But yeah, so that was my one time I've been up to New York.
Gotcha. You'll have to figure out a time to make your way up here again when there's some more cons, at some point. Obviously, we have some pretty good ones around here. And I know Terrificon, that's just coming up at the end of July in Connecticut, which is also something I haven't been to yet. This will be my first time. But from what I've heard, I hear it's a really good show. We'll have
a lot of people from the community are planning on going to that one too.
Yeah. Yep. Steve's saying he doesn't even know me anymore. He said sushi. What about the sushi? Jeremy, where do you stand with sushi? Are you a fan of sushi or not really?
I'll do sushi if it's not got raw fish in it, which is most sushi.
Oh, I was gonna say.
So like what is it, like a California roll or like the shrimp tempura?
Okay. Kind of cooked. Yeah.
Yeah. So those I'll do, but outside of that, nah.
Fair enough. Steve, cover your ears. Don't unsubscribe to Jeremy just because he said that, Steve. All right. We can still all be friends. All right. Ragin saying have to try that New Jersey pizza. Love Chicago pizza. Yeah, I've always heard good things about Chicago pizza for sure. Ragin's over out in the West Coast, so but I know they have their spots there as well. Jason saying, I might have to order a pie after this. This is why I wait until the end, because like we're all talking food, and if we talked about food 20 minutes before, like you and I, Jeremy, would be starving. Just like you'd be like, Justin, can we wrap this up because I need to eat now? Like
we all get lunch, so
there you go. Yeah, see. It just jumped on me. Yeah, Sith was saying more sushi for us. That's a good way to look at it, Sith. Yeah, if Jeremy doesn't want it, we'll eat it. And Steve's saying we can get pizza. There you go. There's some friendship right there.
Yeah,
friendship, guys. Sushi is the best. Yes, Caroline, agreed. All right, cool. So hey, look, guys, this was the interview. Jeremy, dude, thank you so much for being on and joining me here, because it's been a long time coming. Obviously, we've been talking for a very long time, and I do hope that we can collaborate again sometime very soon. Yes. Maybe talk more new comics and things like that. But before we wrap it up, let the people know where they can find you, and tell us a little bit about what kind of shows you have coming up.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me on. This was a great time. Absolutely enjoyed it, and we'll definitely set something up for the future to do more collaboration. But yeah. SparksComics, that's where you can find me on Instagram, on YouTube right now. And then, so coming up, we've got the weekly FOC show Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. There's some things that we're planning for the future, a couple interviews coming up, but we haven't set the time yet for those. So keep an eye on Instagram. We'll announce when those are coming up. One of them with Nathan from Behemoth Comics. He's going to come back on the channel, talk about what they've got going on now. And then I'm talking actually with David Byrne, the writer for Stake. We're going to set something up.
Okay.
Because I met him in person at Pensacon, and we were talking about getting him on the channel.
Yeah.
So that's what's coming up. More interviews down the line too. Weekly new comic book day videos, occasional other like mail calls, comic reviews. Actually, right now we did some comic reviews on when Caroline and I did our indie comics talk on Thursday. So I'm kind of cutting those out to give you guys little clips of the. I'm doing a Sith here.
Yeah,
I'm clipping things from the longer show, but doing just individual. Comic reviews, so I'll post those up here pretty soon too.
Nice, very cool, man.
Yeah, like you, lots of things going on all the time.
Yeah, man. Hey, you got to stay busy, and as long as you're loving it, it's worth it, man. So
yeah, absolutely.
I'm glad, man. I'm happy to hear. I saw we had Comics King swing by here. Apparently, he's out to lunch with Desired Comics right now.
Nice. And
pretty cool.
Desired's on there. Just hopped in too.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. There he is. What's going on, Nigel? Good to see you. Where was it? I just saw. Oh, Ian was talking about tacos. He says, Pastor Abu Dhabi. Oh, Abu Dhabi Pastor tacos with the pineapples. Well, I have no idea what he's talking about. So, I mean, I know tacos, but
I want some tacos now.
Yeah, now I want tacos. Yeah. Appreciate the love, guys. Yeah. So, dude, again, like I said, Jeremy, thank you so much for being on the show. You are seriously a major key when it comes to the community. And I really mean that. I mean, just everything you do, I feel like you bring a lot of people together and all the information that you put out day in and day out, man, it's well appreciated. So, I wish you the best as you continue to grow your channel and Instagram. Keep doing your thing. And, we will collaborate soon. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and hey, if you guys are not following Jeremy, like I said, information in the description below. Make sure you guys do that. I'm going to be going live again in about 45 minutes. I'm going to be not on this channel. I'm actually going to be over at Read Across the Stars YouTube channel, aka Victoria. I put her information in the description below as well. We're actually gonna be talking about my first manga that I've ever read before. I read Full Metal Alchemist. I know, Jeremy, you've dabbled a little bit with the show and whatnot, as we were talking about that before our show. Full Metal Alchemist, just read that first volume, or whatever you call it, that first book. So I'm really excited to kind of break it down with Victoria. So that's today at 4:00 Eastern time, about 45 minutes from now. Other than that, I see Steve saying we need to take you to San Diego Comic-Con. Dude, I'm all yours, man. You let me know and set some things up for sure. I'm down. Appreciate all the love, guys. See everybody just appreciate the love and the support. So make sure you hit that thumbs button on the way out. And until next time, I will. One thing to note, I actually will not be back next week. I'm going to take a week off for Origins because my girlfriend and I are doing a little mini vacation. We're actually going to hit up a casino for the first time. So we'll be, I'll probably be live. I'll do some fun stuff on my Instagram account, but I won't have an Origins that time around. But the following week, I think it's Chamorro Cinema, which will be interesting as well. So yeah. So in the meantime, you guys need anything, just reach out on Instagram. I'm always there. So appreciate everybody, and we will talk to you guys